What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, talking about something that, if done right, could end up being some of the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh news in history. It can be monumental. It could honestly change the way that we play this game. Yu-Gi-Oh is already, I would probably say, the most popular trading card game on the face of the earth. I think that Magic beats it in North America and maybe Europe, but it doesn't really do anything in Asia. That's where I think that Yu-Gi-Oh would win out. But this could be essentially what makes Yu-Gi-Oh far and away the most popular trading card game that the world has ever seen. Very similar to like how Duel Links just brought in a whole nother community. Duel Links was insanely popular. It brought just so many players, and it's gotten tens of thousands, or excuse me, tens of millions of downloads. This could bring thousands of new players into the game. So what exactly am I talking about? I'm talking about Konami actually starting to take seriously and develop like basically new ways of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of like the AR duels, the augmented reality, or if you guys have ever seen like these solid vision Yu-Gi-Oh duels that have been posted on YouTube. A lot of these are like fan created, and you know, it all kind of goes back to the original DM anime with like holograms, and people have always yearned for that with Yu-Gi-Oh, because when you were younger, or a lot of times when you were first introduced to the card game, and pretty much any of the animes, you were probably, you know, shown duels that happened, and a lot of them had holograms. But in the real card game, obviously that's just something that doesn't happen. I mean, we basically just play with physical cards, and you have to just kind of use your imagination if the monsters are attacking. If you want to go like full weeaboo, well, Konami is actually doing that, and they're starting to develop it. And it's interesting because they've had like the AR duels for the World Championship, and you know, these solid vision programs have been a while, or have been around for a significant amount of time, but I feel like they're just, you know, they've always kind of felt like a novelty. One of the reasons I've never got too excited when I see these these HoloLens videos is because I'm like, okay, that's really cool. These fans put in a whole lot of effort. But what really is the end game? How do you make this profitable? How do you make it worth your time after investing so many countless hours on making something kind of awesome? It just feels like if you're not like a big established company, you're not going to actually be able to make any money off of this. And, you know, Konami owns the license for Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's kind of their product. If they don't want to work with you, then you really don't have any way of like monetizing this. So as often as I saw these HoloLens videos and I was like, that's dope, I never really thought that it could become a legitimate reality, because I was like, well, if you guys can't actually make any money off of it and Konami owns the Yu-Gi-Oh property, there really isn't that much incentive for you guys to keep moving forward with this with this discovery or with this technology. But now it looks like Konami is really looking into new ways of playing the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and I'm thinking that this might actually arrive sooner than later. And if they're really going through all of this trouble, maybe that means that it's something that they want to implement on the consumer level, i.e. you guys, me and you who spend money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards and actually play the card game. This could be something that we potentially get our hands on within the next couple of years. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read about this, or I'm going to read from the article, and then you guys can give me your opinions in the comment section below, and I'll go ahead and I'll give you guys my opinion. So it says Konami develops image recognition technology that can distinguish over 9,000 Dragon Ball Z shoutouts different Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Two developers from Konami Digital Entertainment held a conference on an AI-based image recognition system that can distinguish over 9,000 different Yu-Gi-Oh cards on August 23rd, 2018. So that was just a couple of days ago. You guys will see this video on Saturday, but I'm shooting it on Friday at the CEDEC 2018 Game Developers Conference hosted by the Computer Entertainment Association, revealing how they came to develop the technology. So this is something that employees of Konami have actually developed. This isn't like a third-party company. This isn't made by Yu-Gi-Oh fans. These are actual Konami employees who are straight up on their payroll, which is obviously a good thing because it means that this is official. It means that this is something that is being funded by, you know, their company money, and it's fully developed by them too. It's not something that they bought from like another company and then they're like working on, because sometimes there can be like conflicts of interest, or there can be what's the word that I'm looking for, there can kind of be differences in creative control, and you know, people have different ways that they want to develop it, but this is all kind of in-house. It says The company has developed an image recognition system that can distinguish the paper cards used in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Official card game, where you can collect and play various cards. So this means that this technology that they're using, it actually works with the physical cards that we all own. Your Ash Blossoms, your Impermanences, your Firewall Dragons. You can plug them in and boom, the technology instantly can recognize each card. And over 9,000, so chances are you don't own a single card that this damn technology doesn't actually recognize. So the article continues on to say the current game is one where you play with one another using physical cards in the real world. This is pretty similar to, like, you know, the AR duels that they have at Worlds, or any of these HoloLens duels where you're using like real cards and then basically like holograms pop up, or something similar to that. But it says our goal was to propose a new way of playing the game, one that would be compatible with computer games in the future. So that's pretty interesting. Not exactly sure how deep that rabbit hole is, but it's kind of interesting. As of its 20th anniversary, there are already 9,000 different cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Official card game. It would be impossible to apply identification methods such as QR codes to such a large number of cards. So instead, the team looked to image recognition software. And I'm not exactly sure, because I'm not, you know, super technology savvy, but I'm not sure what QR codes means, but I definitely have heard of image recognition software. It says the original system required 20 days of machine learning to process 9,000 cards with only a 50% accuracy rate. So only half of what they put in there was, you know, actually coming out right. It says it wasn't usable. There was something missing when compared to distinguishing cards with the human eye. That's why they came up with a solution: semi-transparent composite images. Card images are rendered on a computer. Here, two slightly different semi-transparent card images are rendered, then merged together. This new image is used for the machine learning process. And then it talks about how much more efficient that was. It says that the, you know, algorithm used to be 20 days, but now it's just 4 to 5 days, and the accuracy that used to be 50% is now 100%. And what exactly does all this mean? To me, this kind of says that after 20 years of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Physical trading card game, that Konami is looking at new ways of basically like enhancing and broadening the consumer, or the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist experience. I mean, imagine if this was something that's in a couple of years, because I can't see them pushing this out next year. Maybe it could, you know, launch at the kickoff of generation or era 7 of Yu-Gi-Oh! So that would be roughly 2020, in the TCG like fall 2020. So it's a full 2 years out, right? Imagine if Konami did something very similar to the Duel Terminal, where, if you guys don't remember, because maybe you're a newer player, during 5Ds and during Zexal, like, Duel Terminal isn't just, you know, the imaginary storyline in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game for like the Gem Knights and the Ritual Beasts and the, you know, Necroz and Evil Swarm and all that good stuff. Duel Terminal was an arcade machine that Konami actually sent out to a whole bunch of tournament stores, right, all across North America, like Canada, the United States, etc., etc. And you'd go to your locals and you'd be able to spend, I don't know, maybe $3-4 playing the Duel Terminal machine, playing against the computer. And once you were done dueling, you'd actually get a card from the Duel Terminal set. Now, it was the same cards that were in the Hidden Arsenal set, because Konami didn't want to make them just exclusively to the Duel Terminal, because then it would be a little ridiculous. If you didn't have a Duel Terminal anywhere near you, how would you ever get these cards? But these cards were in different rarities, like, you know, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Evil Swarm, Ophion. These were cards that could be found in ultra rare variants out of the Duel Terminal. And since it was completely random, a lot of like the high-end cards like Brionic and Daigusto Emerald, Lavalval Chain, these cards were fucking expensive as balls in their time. I'm talking about before, you know, some of the cards ended up getting banned and power creeped, etc., etc. So imagine if maybe, before you guys think, Cap G, this means that we're all gonna have dual disc in a couple of years. Imagine if maybe they end up sending, I don't know, they make a dual disc technology that actually has holograms, if, you know, technology can advance that far in a couple of years. But maybe they send a couple of them to some stores and they test it out, and the stores have, you know, featured duels using those. Like, that would be amazing. It would put our experience closer to the anime, which I am so sure that so many people have always dreamed of. I just never really thought that Konami would be interested in this, because obviously it's going to be expensive, and, you know, how exactly would you monetize this? Do you monetize it it just off having newer players enter the game, or do you actually put this on a store level? Do you actually start selling these in Walmart? Maybe $200 for a real legitimate, hologram dual disc that players could actually use when playing the card game. Like, would I spend $200 if it actually had holograms for over 9,000 cards? Like, yeah, I absolutely would. I mean, think about it. If you're spending $150 on 2 fucking impermanents, it's like, what's $200 to play with holograms anytime you wanted to duel against anybody? Although, how exactly would it recognize your opponents? I guess you would only be able to duel against somebody who also has holograms. Or no, maybe you wouldn't. Maybe your holograms would be fine. Although, what about like the battle phase and whatnot? Yeah, that would be kind of complicated. Anyways, this is all just, well, it's not all speculation because they're actually developing new technology. But what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that we could be entering basically like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, but in real life within the next few years of Yu-Gi-Oh? I want to see that, man. I would definitely pay up to $250 if I could have a real dual disc that actually had holograms for each card, and every single card that I owned was actually plugged into this thing where I could just slide in a Regeki and I'd actually see it pop up as if it was Duel Links or something like that, but actually just in real life. That'd be kind of cool. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.